Have you ever felt like there's something more to life than what meets the eye? That beneath the surface of our day-to-day existence lies a deeper reality waiting to be discovered? In today's fast-paced world of constant notifications, deadlines, and digital distractions, many of us are experiencing a strange paradox. We're more connected than ever before, yet feeling increasingly disconnected from ourselves and what truly matters. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Timewise, and today we're diving into one of the most profound psychological frameworks ever conceived: Carl Jung's 12 stages of spiritual awakening. Whether you're feeling lost, searching for meaning, or simply curious about the deeper dimensions of human experience, Jung's insights offer a roadmap for inner exploration that remains remarkably relevant today. But before we begin, remember to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss our weekly explorations of timeless wisdom. So who was Carl Jung, and why should we care about his ideas in 2025? Born in Switzerland in 1875, Carl Gustav Jung was a psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology. Initially a close collaborator with Sigmund Freud, Jung eventually broke away to develop his own psychological theories that emphasize the importance of integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche. Unlike many of his contemporaries who focused solely on pathology, Jung was interested in human potential and spiritual development. He studied world religions, mythology, alchemy, and indigenous traditions, recognizing patterns that appeared across cultures and throughout human history. What makes Jung's work so valuable today is his understanding that psychological well-being isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about embarking on a journey toward wholeness, what he called individuation. This process of becoming fully yourself is what the 12 stages of spiritual awakening help illuminate. Jung didn't explicitly outline these exact 12 stages in a single work, but through his extensive writings on psychological development, scholars and Jungian analysts have distilled this framework that captures his understanding of the spiritual awakening process. Let's explore these stages, focusing particularly on 3 of the most transformative ones. The first stage begins with a feeling that something is missing. Jung recognized that spiritual awakening often starts not with bliss, but with discomfort. Have you ever achieved everything you thought you wanted, perhaps a career milestone, relationship, or possession, only to feel strangely empty afterward? Jung would say this isn't a sign of failure, but actually the beginning of something profound. In his own words, the least of things with a meaning is worth more in life than the greatest of things without it. This initial stage often manifests as a kind of existential crisis. The things that once gave us satisfaction no longer fulfill us. We might find ourselves asking, is this all there is? This discontent is actually a call from your deeper self, what Jung termed the self with a capital S, beckoning you toward greater wholeness. I witnessed this in a friend who had built a successful tech company, achieved financial freedom before 35, and seemed to have everything figured out. Yet he found himself unable to enjoy any of it, plagued by an inexplicable emptiness. This wasn't depression in the clinical sense. It was his psyche signaling that material success alone couldn't satisfy his deeper needs. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever experienced this kind of emptiness despite outward success? What was trying to get your attention through that feeling? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's jump ahead to one of the most challenging but transformative stages Jung identified: confronting what he called the shadow. Jung wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The shadow represents aspects of ourselves that we've rejected, repressed, or denied, qualities we don't want to acknowledge. These might include anger, jealousy, selfishness, or desires that don't align with our conscious self-image. Modern society encourages us to present only our best, most polished selves, especially on social media. But Jung understood that true spiritual growth requires integrating all parts of ourselves, including those we'd rather keep hidden. Consider this modern example. A woman who prides herself on being kind and selfless starts experiencing inexplicable anger and resentment toward those she helps. From a Jungian perspective, these feelings aren't random. They're her shadow emerging to show her that she's neglected her own needs while caring for others. By acknowledging these feelings rather than suppressing them, she can develop healthier boundaries and a more authentic form of compassion. Shadow work isn't about indulging destructive impulses, but about bringing unconscious material into consciousness where it can be transformed. This integration leads to greater authenticity, energy, and creativity. I'm curious, what parts of yourself have been the hardest to acknowledge or accept? Have you ever had a moment when you realized you were projecting your own disowned qualities onto others? These insights are the beginnings of shadow work. As we progress through the spiritual awakening process, we might notice something strange happening. Meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random chance. Jung called these events synchronicities, and they represent one of his most fascinating contributions to psychology. Jung defined synchronicity as a causal connecting principle, meaning events that are meaningfully related but not causally connected. Unlike cause and effect, synchronicities seem to reveal an underlying pattern or order to reality that transcends our conventional understanding. For example, you might be thinking about an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, only to receive a call from them moments later. Or perhaps you keep encountering the same obscure symbol repeatedly in different contexts, just as you're researching its meaning for a personal project. Jung himself had a famous synchronicity during a therapy session. As a patient was describing a dream about a golden scarab beetle, Jung heard a tapping on his window. When he opened it, in flew a scarabid beetle with a gold-green coloration, the closest thing to a golden scarab one could find in Switzerland. This extraordinary timing helped the patient break through a rigid rationalism that was blocking her therapeutic progress. Synchronicities often appear at significant junctures in our lives, especially during periods of transformation. They can serve as guideposts, confirming we're on the right path or drawing our attention to something important we're overlooking. When have you experienced meaningful coincidences in your own life? Did they guide you in a particular direction or help you see a pattern you hadn't noticed before? While we've explored 3 key stages in depth, let's briefly touch on the complete journey of spiritual awakening according to Jungian psychology. The call, recognizing emptiness and the need for meaning self-examination, beginning to question your beliefs and identity. Disillusionment, realizing that conventional wisdom doesn't hold all the answers. Ego death, surrendering old identities that no longer serve you. Shadow work, facing your repressed aspects and integrating them. Active imagination, engaging with unconscious material through creative expression. Finding archetypal wisdom, recognizing universal patterns in your personal journey. Anima-animus integration, balancing feminine and masculine energies. Individuation, becoming your authentic whole self. Synchronicity, recognizing meaningful coincidences. Self-realization, experiencing moments of transcendence and unity. Continuing the journey, accepting that spiritual growth is ongoing. Jung believed that these stages aren't strictly sequential. We often cycle through them, revisiting earlier stages as we spiral upward in our development. The journey isn't linear but recursive, with each return to a familiar challenge occurring at a deeper level of understanding. In our current era of heightened anxiety, polarization, and spiritual searching, Jung's wisdom offers valuable guidance. His emphasis on wholeness rather than perfection reminds us that embracing our full humanity, including our flaws and contradictions, is the path to genuine fulfillment. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart, Jung wrote. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. This inward journey isn't self-indulgent navel-gazing. By becoming more whole individuals, we contribute more meaningfully to our relationships and communities. Jung believed that individual transformation was essential for collective healing. As we face unprecedented global challenges, Jung's framework reminds us that crisis often precedes breakthrough. The collective emptiness many experience today may be an invitation to evolve toward a more integrated and meaningful way of being. Carl Jung's 12 stages of spiritual awakening offer a profound map for navigating our inner landscape. Whether you're just beginning to question the status quo or you're deep in the process of transformation, understanding these stages can provide context and reassurance for your journey. Remember that spiritual awakening isn't about escaping life's challenges, but about engaging with them more consciously. It's not about reaching some perfect endpoint, but about continually expanding your capacity for awareness, authenticity, and meaningful connection. I'd love to hear where you find yourself on this journey. Which of the stages resonates most with your current experience? What aspects of Jung's wisdom do you find most relevant to your life right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value in this exploration, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to join us for more discussions of timeless wisdom in our modern world. And if you know someone who might benefit from Jung's insights, share this video with them. Until next time, may your journey toward wholeness be filled with meaningful discoveries. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section below. If there are other philosophical or psychological topics you'd like me to explore in future videos, let me know. See you in the next one.